Hey, how's it going? This is episode 1. I've got a couple of plans. I'm waiting for somebody to send me a couple of pictures. We'll get to her and we'll talk about that. So you might hear this thing go off. I plan on showing you guys a picture of my desk right now. So that's my desk. There's some interesting features. The thing you probably noticed most was this. It's a Bowie knife, a really big one. And the reason I have it is because in my old neighborhood, the streets where I grew up, all the gangsters carried Bowie knives. And when I got done writing the third installment of my autobiography, the trophy that I chose to pick is this thing. And it's heavy. It'll pull down the belt. But now I have a Bowie knife. I also have, you may have seen this little thing right here. This is a thing I think all desks should have. It's a pocket knife, a small pocket knife. Like 1,000 times I've needed to cut something open. The other thing that I have is a flashlight. It's remarkable how many times you drop something under your desk. And usually no good light goes under there. So I think all desks should have that. You may have seen a bunch of stones up here. I have a lapis lazuli collection that I haven't added to in quite a while. But I've put a lot of money into that. I've got a pyramid. I've got a little box. I've got a skull. And I got an angel. And a bunch of other different things. You may have noticed these cards. We'll get into their function, but they're basically note cards that I use to put on the wall. The wall back there looks confusing. We will definitely talk about that sometime, but not tonight. Today I want to talk about a piece that I wrote. I want to talk about why I wrote it and who I wrote it to, because it was actually part of a letter that I wrote. And we're going to talk about what function this had and the reaction that it had from everybody that read it. I'm pretty proud of it, but it was just something that I wrote spur of the moment to explain. Well, I was talking to a friend of mine. Her name is ML Spencer, and we set up a friendship a while ago. And I'll read a little bit of that, how that came to be. But we set up a friendship a while ago, and we started writing each other back and forth. It was like a pen pal kind of situation, which I think all writers need something like that. Writers need to talk to writers, because we are all doing a very specific job that is difficult to do. I spelled it wrong. Okay, yeah. So we're all doing a very specific job that's not easy, and once you have, once you've done that job, it pretty much changes you. Once you've written a really good book, or a few. So I came to Facebook looking to make some friends, looking to talk to people that were doing work and that were writing books, and not many would have anything to do with me. I was saying some really weird things, and we'll get into that. But I was saying some really weird things, and I wasn't being taken seriously very much by any of my peers. So I reached out to the Alchemist. I'm going to read a small bit of a chapter from one of my um, one of my autobiographies where I start talking about friends that I have in the self-published community. And I'm going to read a little bit just to kind of give you an idea of what me and ML Spencer's relationship is like. In the book, every time I'm referring to somebody who is one of my friends, or somebody from the self-published community, I refer to them in a code name. And the code name for ML Spencer was the Alchemist. Okay, so when you hear me refer to the Alchemist, that's who I'm talking to. Work is not meant to be alone. It's not meant to be done in complete isolation. Any worker, no matter the job, is meant to have people they can talk to about the job. They need to speak to someone who does the same thing they do, day in and out. So in my desperation, I reached out to the traditionally published author who respected indie authors the most. I wrote a pleading letter to Mark Lawrence. Now, when I wrote this letter, I was basically like, we have a bunch of things in common. Can we talk? But it was early, and I didn't realize that that's like traditionally published writers like Mark Lawrence do not usually strike up friendships with people who are just getting started. So he was gentle about telling me to go back to my corner. He had never heard anything I had written, and he had no way of knowing if I was worth his time. There are a lot of indie writers who are not there yet, and it's not really fair for me to reach out to him. He gave me a few names I could call on. I wrote Blackblade, I wrote Sloth, I wrote Tower. I asked them all if they wanted to talk shop sometime in letters back and forth. I heard back from Tower, but after his initial, okay, I might have time, and my return letter promising never to ask him for a hand up and never tout that I was his friend, I never heard from him again. I was alone. In my isolation, I was drowning. I lost the verb for writing. It is in my blood now. I have to write. I do it every day, but the passion was gone. The desperate desire to hit the board left me, and things became a drudgery. I began to dry up as I entered Facebook group after Facebook group and tried to strike up conversation. I couldn't get anyone to comment on a post, could not get a single person to talk to me. I was a ghost, a phantom, who haunted the web, reaching out and finding no one. I began to lose all hope of acceptance. Then I found the Alchemist, and here she is. I was running a blog, this spot where every other week I posted an interview with a self-published writer. Like I announced in a group that I was interviewing people, and out of the dark came the Alchemist. We sent her the questions, and she had them back to us in 20 minutes later. I'd never seen that sort of aggression and dogged resolve in a writer before. Writers have a tendency to put things off, put things on hold, to store the email and come back when they've had their coffee, their run, or their day off. Writers get to it when they can, and most writers are awesome procrastinators. This sort of decisiveness was startling. This is how I work. I reached out to her a few days later, made a joke. I don't remember the joke. She responded. I don't remember her response. Soon I dumped my purse. I can't get anyone to talk to me. I wrote Mark, he sent me to Blackblade, Sloth, and Tower, and they ghosted me. I have so much to say. I have to talk to someone who does our job, and I can't get anyone interested. She said nothing. But I wasn't done yet, so it didn't matter. I can't get anyone to talk to me, anywhere, and no one takes me seriously. Once they hear the sort of things I'm saying, I'm all alone. This is not your problem, Alchemist. This is not very professional. And what could I say? I'm losing hope. I'm losing my mind. I'm breaking without the acknowledgement of any of us. This is not very professional, but I need help. Nothing. She went quiet for a long time. Then, pen pal? She said. Yes, please. Done. So I started to talk to her. I told her all of it. Why not, right? Let's break out full crazy right away. I've written 5 series. All five are standalone series, but when you pull them apart and shuffle them back together, chronologically, they tell a single story. I've written 13,000 pages. That's true, but That was true at the time. I've written more by now. I've written over 4 million words. Also true. I have a plan for so much more. I can't stop. And I think I am a lunatic. Now, this is where she goes quiet. This is where she steps away, right? But I had to drop it all on her at once. I needed her to see what she was dealing with. I believe in flow crazy right out the gate. Let them know what they're getting into. Let them see what they will be dealing with. And that's part of why I'm reading this to you now. Before they get so involved that they miss it when you walk away. When I laid it out in front of her, she paused. Fuck, man, that's insane, she said. Do you think about it all the time? Can't stop. Yeah, me either, she said. Do you wish your characters were real? This is where I broke into tears. Here were words I'd been saying for so long. These thoughts had plagued me for my entire life, and to hear another had them as well soothed me. Aaron the Marked is going to save my soul, I told her. Aaron will heal me, and he will lead me back to myself. He sounds intense, she said. Darian has been with me for so long, I wouldn't know what to do without him. That's the main character of the series that she wrote called The Ren Wars. Very famous. Lots of people have read it. Lots of people have loved it. I thought of Harpo. I thought of Sai. I thought of any of the dozens of characters who'd been living with me for my entire life. I think one day if I have to kill Darian, I know it will break me, she said. I felt the hollow part of my body toll when I thought of the death of Father Morgan the Guy and how I would never be okay after that man's passing. The love I held for him did not change the hideous way I had killed him, and I knew I would never forgive myself for that bit of writing. If you do it, try to forgive yourself. The Alchemist and I wrote back and forth for a year. She brought me back to sanity. She heard all my confessions and eased all my fears. She's one of the best writers in the game. Her work with Wizards is groundbreaking, and her series, Ren Wars, will be remembered for generations as one of the great works of fantasy in one of the great worlds of fantasy. When she finished Ren Wars, writing the final book was so intense that it left both of her wrists in braces. But this is a woman possessed. She knew that sort of passion would eventually overtake her again, so she tossed a keyboard, she bought a mic, and she bought this dictation software. Pain will not stop her or slow her down again. She cannot be stopped. This is her life. This is her future. And she let me know that it is okay to live this way. That it's okay, that I cannot be stopped. That this is my life. This is my future. This is my life. It was confirmed by one of the best. All right, so now I've introduced the one I call the Alchemist. I want to tell you a little bit more about what she's doing now. When I first met her, she was writing the third book in the Ren Wars series. It's actually a 5-book series. She was writing the third book in that series, while also trying to promote the first two. She's moved on from that. She's 2 books into a series that's a side series from that, and she has taken a break from those and written a book called Dragon Mage. You may have heard of it. It's everywhere. Dragon Mage is a monolith. It's a behemoth. It's moving through the fantasy world like mercilessly. Everybody wants to read it. A lot of people have read it, and I haven't heard of anybody who read it and didn't enjoy it. So, go out as soon as you can. Read Dragon Mage. If you have read Dragon Mage, I'd like to hear your thoughts about it in the comments. Because it's something I haven't gotten a chance to read yet. And don't give me any spoilers, but I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. Now I'm going to read you a snippet. It's a pretty long snippet. I shouldn't call it a snippet. Basically what happened was I was talking to her and I was writing the end of one of my series. That's not how you spell Jesse Teller. And that's not how you spell .com. You're going to find out that I am tragically dyslexic. I think you heard it when I was reading the piece about her. I stumble over words a lot. I read words wrong a lot. I write words wrong a lot. Writing is not interesting. I'm not interesting. That's not what I meant to say. I talk words weird a lot. Writing is not easy for me. It's just something that I can't not do. So, we're gonna find a piece that is a part of a letter that I sent to her, and I'm gonna read it to you and see what you think. And it is the main reason we are here today. So, I gotta find it though. All right, so I found it. It was a bit of a mess to find it because I had like 40 different places I could look, and a couple of those were like really troublesome. I decided to look at it from my blog. It is oh, hi.
Hey.
My wife is here. This is Becca Teller.
Hey guys.
Isn't she wonderful? She's we're going to talk about her poetry a little bit later. She's been writing poetry all year, and she's done a crazy amount in 1 year, like 140.
I think it was 147.
147 poems this year, and they
last year,
and they were just sitting around. And we didn't know exactly what we were gonna do. She wants to put them in 4 books, but some of those books were done, some weren't. We were gonna wait until we got all 4 of them done before she self-published them. But what she decided to do, which really inspired this channel, was she decided to put up her own channel where she like does her thing and talks into a hairbrush, because I guess when she was little there was a lot of singing to Cyndi Lauper and Bon Jovi on hairbrushes and jumping on beds and all that kind of stuff. That person doesn't get to talk to me. But she's doing a site called
Hairbrush Poetry Jam.
Hairbrush Poetry Jam.
That's my channel.
It's up right now. I'm going to link it for you. You need to go check it out because it's really cool. She also does this little this thing that she colors mandalas, and it's not like her main jam, but like it's like her side hustle. Something she does with her time when she's just waiting around for me or to get out of bed or whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna show a couple of those, and you're gonna see her a lot. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna get to reading this. Feel free to hang out in the office.
Okay, cool.
Because that's what we're doing.
All right, see you guys.
So, okay, so this was a letter that I wrote to her, to Mel, when she was, when I was finishing up a series, and it was just really like taking me over. And this is the best way for me to describe to you how it feels for me to be writing and towards the end of a book or a series, and it just like taking over. There's a low hum, a bit of a hiss, like that first few minutes on vinyl before the song starts. You can hear the song churning out low and slow. You're in the dark now, lying on the floor with those huge headphones on. Around you, the world is still going. You have someone in the kitchen cooking a thankless meal. You have a sour man with sore feet drinking a beer who just wants to be left alone at a rundown chair, threadbare and lumpy. You could still hear the world. The trucks are blazing by your house right now on the highway, and you can hear them now because the music is creeping, the notes so muted you can barely hear them. But there they are. They have a whispered promise, because your friends all told you this was a good record. You spent the last of your Christmas money on it. You're broke again, but the other kids keep talking about how this is the album. So here you are, breathless on the floor of your bedroom, waiting for magic. The first hard notes that come to you are bass. The songwriter is just laying this down, getting a good bass coat, like that model you made with your father before he started to hate you, when he wasted all of his time applying the primer. The bass hits harder. You feel the chord in your chest, like the strained beat of the heart attack you will have when you're 40. Too young to die, not too young to try. Now the bass seems angry, and you can feel it boxing in you. It is trapping you. Drums come out like wildfire you once saw when a bolt of lightning hit a field outside your town. The drums blister the inside of your head like the fire blistered the paint on the road sign. You're leaving small town. Come back and see us. But these drums don't belong here. Not in this tiny burg. Not in your shamble of a room. Hold on. Not in your shamble of a room. You're realizing now that you're in the dark. The only light, the soft glow of the stereo volume button. You stare at it like a pistol in a game of roulette. You stare at it intensely because you're starting to sweat now. You're scared. The music has taken over the room. The music has a hold of you. You can feel its humid grip wrapped tight around your body. It's locking your limbs up. It's bringing you into trembling. With hate of things mediocre, you grab the knob and hit the volume as hard as you can. You roll the tumbler. You pull the trigger. And when the first yowl of the singer hits your ears, you realize you made a mistake. You're in too deep now. It's too loud. It's too much. It's never going to be better than this again. The next time you're here, you will heard the album. You will be prepared for it. But the warnings your friends gave you when you were in the car next door bitching about how good music doesn't make it on the air were too flat. Those warnings you did not take seriously. Now you're here. Now you're in the riding on the edge of the razor of heavy metal. And you're not going to ever be the same. You thank God your parents gave you your own room when they kicked your sister out. No bratty younger brother is going to come home and snap on the light. At that moment, you know you're a bad person because even though you will not see your sister until you're 30 and she'll be pregnant with a sty in her eye bitching about Reagan, you're glad she's gone. Would have kicked her out yourself if you had known this moment would hit you, if you had known this music would take you. The first song fades, and with the loss of music, you are panting breathless anticipation for the next song. Screaming from the start, this song has claws and it grips you tight, painful in the shoulders, bloody, and it has wings and it flies away with you. It has you in the air and terrified. It has you staring down at your life in disappointment because here, when you're looking down at it all, you know she was not alone when she called tonight. You heard the voice in the background and you recognized it. You can't compare to that guy. And tomorrow at lunch, she'll break the rest of your heart in half. She's been taking a dull cleaver to it for years. Tomorrow, the final blow. The song carries you over all that. It's a deep pain that will carry with you for most of college. More songs, more crippling realizations. Sorry about that. More songs, more crippling realizations. This album has a diabolical heart. It's a sergeant screaming at his first day that you are useless after you've shaved your head and they call you a pansy. It's the dark heart of your teacher who really thought that he would make it to the pros but was cut. He's bitter and trying to fail you, looking for reasons to fail you. This dark-hearted album is a cruel kid with a BB gun. You're a bird with a broken wing. You are flapping in horror. The next song breaks upon you like a thief in your house at night. More and more it comes to you. It washes over you as you listen. One tragic horror, one mundane nightmare after the next. When the song drops like a bomb over innocence, you jump to your knees. You frantically crawl to the stereo, and with hurried, traumatized hands, you flip the album, almost dropping it. The needle falls instead of gently resting, and you hear the record wail out one heart-wrenching beat before the song is on you again. No soft hum or gentle hiss this time. The song is in full deep darkness now, and though you wish you could start it over and catch it from the beginning, you know there's no starting it over. The song has you now. You're in its grasp. Tony was a bully you faced in second grade, and he never hit this hard. You never felt this hopeless when he stared down at you, laughing while you cried. This song is the most hateful thing you've ever experienced, and you're not ready. You're not made of the strong stuff it takes to weather this song. The record keeps dropping on you harder, and the more devastating than you ever thought possible, and helpless, You can only grip the tight spiral cord of the headphones and pray for the power to hear the next song. The song stops like a car your drunk buddy will be driving when it slams into your wall. Your neck will never be the same, and when that car will make that horrid sudden stop, you will think back at this moment as they load you into the ambulance. This is the song that will be stuck in your head. The next song fades like a road flare sputtering after lighting the area. By the time the end of the album comes, the record has pulled back to look at you, the music gloating over the ride it just gave you. No roller coaster your father forced you to ride was ever this satisfying after bringing you to tears. When dinner comes, you're late. Your mother didn't even call you to the spaghetti, did not even knock on the door. Now the meatballs are gone, it's just sauce, but you barely notice. All the next day in school, you're walking like a shell-shocked soldier. Your friends know, and they are gentle with you. They know better than to ask if you want to go steal a six-pack and sit out behind the drive-in, honking the horn during the serious parts and laughing. Because every one of them knows you will not come. You will be at home after school, waiting for the sun to go down on your dingy home, because all day long they know you have been thinking about your headphones and the soft glow of your stereo. This is what it's like to write, for me, a dark fantasy novel. This is what I miss during my time off. I'm just waiting for the sun to go down. Okay, so that went pretty well. There was a couple hiccups, a couple of times when I messed with stuff up, but I'm going to be reading a lot on this channel, and the fact is, like I mentioned before, I had dyslexia. So it's never going to be a perfect reading. You're never going to get that from me. I'm going to try to keep this as casual as possible. I'm in my office right now. So are you. You're in the office of Jesse Teller, and I'm going to be showing you things and telling you things in here that I never tell anybody. When I'm here, I'm more comfortable with talking about my work, and that is a very loud dog drinking water right now. Her name is Sadie, and she's a Rottweiler, and she's pretty awesome, and I'll show you more about Sadie later. Right now, I am filming on an application on my Mac called PhotoBook. As you can see, it's kind of grainy, not the best quality. I'm going to hook up my iPhone, to record these later. Then I'll be mobile and I can move around the room with you and show you various things. But for now, this is what we got. Anyway, I'm going to be posting this on Friday. This whole thing is still kind of nebulous for me. It's still like hazy as to what to expect from this channel, what we're going to talk about and stuff like that, and when I'm going to be posting. But I'm aiming to post every Friday, so we're going to see if that'll work. Anyway, I'm going to take off now. Thanks for stopping by and checking me out. I hope you liked it. If you did, you know, I don't like to say subscribe, like, and comment. I don't like to say that. You're probably never going to hear that from me, but you just did. Do all the things. And I hope to see you again next Friday.